You wake up in the morning, and even before your feet hit the floor, there's a sense of heaviness. Not just sleepiness, but a deep, bone-weary fatigue that feels like it's settled into your very marrow now that you're past 70. Maybe you manage breakfast, read the paper, but by mid-morning, that familiar wave washes over you, pulling you toward the armchair, whispering promises of just a short rest that somehow steals hours. Remember when you had that seemingly boundless energy? Maybe not running marathons, but enough spark to tackle projects, enjoy spontaneous visits with grandkids, stay out a little later with friends without feeling completely wiped out the next day? And now it feels different. It's more than just needing an extra cup of coffee. It's a persistent fog that can dull the edges of even the brightest days. You might tell yourself, well, this is just part of getting older, isn't it? Maybe friends say it, maybe even your doctor has brushed it off with a sympathetic nod. It's easy to start believing that this constant state of running on empty is simply your new normal. That feeling vibrant, engaged, and truly awake is a luxury reserved for younger folks. You start saying no more often. No to outings, no to helping with that little project. Maybe even sometimes no to things you truly love, simply because the effort feels monumental. It's frustrating, isn't it? It can feel isolating. It can even chip away at that fierce sense of independence and self-respect you've rightly earned over a lifetime. You want to do, you want to be, but the sheer lack of energy feels like an invisible anchor holding you back. But what if I told you that this pervasive exhaustion, this feeling of constantly scraping the bottom of your energy barrel, isn't necessarily the inevitable price of admission to your 70s, 80s, and beyond? What if some of the reasons behind it are things we don't often talk about openly? Quiet struggles with health whispers, hidden stresses from family or finances, maybe even the subtle weight of loneliness that drains more than just our spirits? What if there are real, tangible things you can start doing, perhaps even today, to address the root causes and reclaim some of that precious energy, that feeling of being fully present in your own life? Before you resign yourself to perpetual tiredness, before you accept this fatigue as just the way things are, stick with me for just a few minutes. We're going to gently pull back the curtain on 7 common, often overlooked reasons why you might be feeling so tired all the time after 70. More importantly, we're going to talk about practical, actionable steps you can take to start fixing them. This isn't about chasing youth. It's about reclaiming your vitality, your engagement, and the full richness of the life you deserve right now. Are you ready to explore this together? Let's dive in. 1. The sneaky thief, undiagnosed health issues. Here's the core problem. That unrelenting tiredness, the kind that sleep doesn't seem to fix, might actually be a primary symptom of an undiagnosed or undertreated health condition. We're talking about things that often fly under the radar initially. Issues like anemia, where your blood isn't carrying enough oxygen. Thyroid problems, which act like your body's thermostat and energy regulator. Sleep apnea, where your breathing repeatedly stops and starts during sleep, robbing you of restorative rest, even if you think you slept 8 hours. Or even mild simmering depression or anxiety, which absolutely manifest physically as exhaustion. These aren't always dramatic, sudden illnesses. They can creep up slowly, stealing your energy bit by bit until tired becomes your default setting. Let me tell you about Margaret. She's 74, sharp as a tack, loves her garden, and dotes on her grandchildren. But over a year or so, she found herself begging off afternoon playtime, skipping her gardening club meetings. "I'm just slowing down," she'd say with a little laugh, waving away her daughter's concerns. "It's normal at my age." She felt constantly drained, like wading through treacle. Finally, at her daughter's insistence, she went for a checkup and specifically mentioned this crushing fatigue, not just as an aside, but as her main concern. Turns out, Margaret had undiagnosed anemia. It wasn't dramatic, just enough to consistently leave her tank empty. A simple blood test caught it. A course of iron supplements, recommended by her doctor, was all it took. Within a few weeks, Margaret felt like a different person. She wasn't suddenly 30 again, but she had her spark back, enough energy to chase the little ones around the garden again. She felt like herself. She realized ignoring that fatigue wasn't accepting age. It was letting a fixable problem steal her joy and connection. So, what's the solution here? It's simple, but crucial. Be your own health advocate. Don't dismiss persistent fatigue. Schedule that checkup, yes, but go in with a mission. Tell your doctor, my primary concern today is this ongoing tiredness. It's impacting my life. Be specific. When did it start? Is it worse at certain times? What else are you feeling, even small things? Ask them directly. Could there be an underlying medical reason for my fatigue? Could we run some tests? Perhaps check my iron levels, my thyroid function? Don't be afraid to bring it up. Taking proactive steps for your health, listening to your body's signals, isn't complaining. It's an act of profound self-respect. It's about maintaining your dignity and your ability to live life on your terms. Please don't let a sneaky thief rob you of your vitality when a simple check-in might hold the key. 2. The empty tank, nutritional gaps, and dehydration. Here's the heart of the matter. Your appetite might have changed. Cooking might feel like more of a chore, especially if you're often cooking just for one, or maybe certain foods just don't sit right anymore. This can easily lead to unintentional nutritional gaps. You might be missing out on essential vitamins, minerals, and especially protein, which are crucial building blocks for energy. And then there's dehydration. It's amazing how easily we can become dehydrated, especially as our sense of thirst can diminish with age. Even mild dehydration can zap your energy levels, make you feel foggy-headed, and contribute significantly to that feeling of constant fatigue. It's a double whammy, not enough fuel and not enough fluid to make everything run smoothly. Let me introduce you to Arthur. He's 78, lives alone, and is fiercely independent. But lately he'd been feeling perpetually sluggish, making full meals felt overwhelming most days. He'd often just have toast and tea, maybe a biscuit later. Quick, easy, but not exactly power-packed. He confessed to his daughter during a visit that he just didn't have the get-up-and-go he used to. She didn't nag, but she gently helped him brainstorm easy ways to boost his intake. They stocked his fridge with things like hard-boiled eggs, individual yogurts, pre-washed salad greens, and a rotisserie chicken he could easily pull from. She also bought him a nice reusable water bottle and put a sticky note on the fridge. Sip, sip, sip. Arthur was skeptical, honestly. It seemed too simple. But within about a week of making these small adjustments, adding a bit more protein here, consciously sipping water there, he genuinely felt a difference. Not a miracle cure, but a noticeable lift. He had more energy for his morning walk and didn't feel the need for that long afternoon nap quite as desperately. It was about making better fuel easier to access. So, how do we fill that tank? It doesn't have to be complicated. Focus on nutrient density. Think colorful fruits and vegetables. Frozen or canned are great, convenient options. Lean proteins like fish, chicken, beans, lentils, eggs, and dairy, or fortified alternatives. Whole grains provide sustained energy. Make hydration effortless. Keep that water bottle visible and within reach. Set reminders if you need to. Herbal teas, milk, even watery fruits like melon count towards your fluid intake. If cooking feels like a burden, explore simple meals, batch cooking, or even healthy meal delivery services if that's an option for you. And crucially, talk to your doctor or a registered dietitian. Ask if a multivitamin or specific supplements like B12 or vitamin D, common deficiencies impacting energy, might be beneficial for you. Fueling your body properly isn't vanity. It's essential maintenance for the incredible machine that carries you through life. It's a fundamental act of self-care that directly supports your strength, your clarity, and your treasured independence. 3. The weight of worry, unspoken financial or family stress. Here's the reality. Constant worry acts like a leaky faucet for your energy reserves. Whether it's the quiet hum of anxiety about making ends meet on a fixed income, the heavy concern for a spouse's or child's health struggles, or navigating complex, perhaps strained, family relationships. This kind of ongoing stress puts your mind and body in a perpetual state of low-grade alert. It disrupts sleep, tenses muscles you don't even realize you're clenching, and occupies precious mental bandwidth that could otherwise be used for living. It's not just in your head. This mental load translates directly into physical fatigue. It's heavy lifting, emotionally, and it wears you down. Let's think about Barbara. She's 71, always impeccably put together, always asks about your day first. But her friends noticed she seemed perpetually tired, lacking her usual sparkle. She'd politely decline invitations, saying she needed to rest. What few people knew was that Barbara was lying awake at night, wrestling with anxiety about rising utility costs and unexpected home repairs. She felt embarrassed to talk about it, worried about seeming incapable or being a burden. It wasn't a huge financial crisis, but the constant silent worry was like a heavy cloak she wore every day, draining her energy far more than any physical exertion. Finally, confiding in a trusted friend who gently pointed her towards a local senior center's resource advisor made a world of difference. Just acknowledging the stress out loud and knowing there were potential options and strategies felt like setting down a massive weight. The fatigue didn't vanish overnight, but lifting that specific worry freed up significant emotional and, surprisingly, physical energy. So, how do you lighten this invisible load? First, and perhaps hardest, is to acknowledge the stress. Give it a name. Is it financial worry? Is it concern for a loved one? Is it a difficult family situation? Simply recognizing it is the first step. Second, don't carry it entirely alone. Talk to someone you trust, a close friend, a family member who is supportive, a clergy member, or a therapist. Sometimes just voicing the worry diminishes its power. Third, seek practical help where possible. If it's financial stress, explore resources like senior centers, AARP, or financial advisors specializing in retirement. If it's caregiver stress, look for support groups. Taking action, even small steps, can feel incredibly empowering. Does this kind of hidden worry resonate with you? Remember, reaching out or seeking resources isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of incredible strength, wisdom, and commitment to your own well-being. Managing your mental and emotional load is just as crucial as managing your physical health for maintaining energy, dignity, and the capacity to truly enjoy your life. 4. The isolation drain, loneliness, and lack of connection. Here's the core issue. As humans, we are fundamentally wired for connection. When we lack regular, meaningful social interaction, maybe friends have moved away, a spouse has passed on, mobility issues make getting out harder, or family is busy. It does more than just make us sad. It can disrupt our routines, lessen our motivation to engage with the day, impact our sleep quality, and even trigger physiological stress responses that deplete our energy reserves. Loneliness isn't just a state of mind, it's a state of being that can physically drain you, leaving you feeling lethargic and unmotivated. Think about David. He's 80, a proud man who became a widower a few years back. He kept busy initially, but gradually his world seemed to shrink. He started declining invitations, finding excuses to stay home. He told his son he was just too tired for things anymore. His energy levels plummeted. He felt sluggish, aimless. On a whim, encouraged by his persistent son, he reluctantly agreed to try the weekly bridge game at the local community center. He almost backed out several times, feeling awkward and tired even thinking about it. But he went, and something surprising happened. The simple act of concentrating on the game, the light banter with the others, the shared coffee break, it energized him. He came home feeling more awake and alert than he had in months. It wasn't the bridge itself, it was the connection, the shared activity, the feeling of being part of something again. That regular interaction became a vital source of energy he hadn't realized he was missing. So, how do we combat this isolation drain? It requires conscious effort, but even small steps make a huge difference. Actively seek out connection. Pick up the phone and call an old friend or a relative just to chat. Make small talk with the cashier at the store or your neighbors. Look for opportunities to join groups. Is there a book club, a walking group, a gardening society, a church group, or volunteer opportunities nearby? Senior centers often have fantastic programs. Even consider online communities or learning to video call with distant family if that feels right for you. The key is proactivity. Don't wait for connection to find you. Reaching out, participating, engaging with others. It's not just something to do. It's like plugging yourself back into a vital energy source. It reaffirms your place in the world, supports your mental agility, and can genuinely lift that heavy feeling of fatigue. Who could you connect with, even briefly, this week? 5. The rut stuck. Lack of purpose or mental stimulation. Here's the fundamental issue. Our brains thrive on engagement, on learning, on having a reason to get up and do something. When days lack structure, When there isn't a goal or an interest pulling us forward, it's easy to slip into a state of mental apathy. This isn't laziness. It's often a natural consequence of a major life shift. But this lack of mental exercise can paradoxically lead to physical fatigue. Without stimulating challenges or activities that feel meaningful, our energy systems can downshift. It's like a muscle. If you don't use it, it weakens. The same can happen with our motivation and, consequently, our physical get up and go. Consider Eleanor. She's 72 and had a very fulfilling, busy career as a librarian. Retirement felt exciting at first, but after a few months, she found herself feeling adrift and surprisingly tired. She had all the time in the world, but no real direction for her days. She'd sleep in, watch TV, maybe tidy up a bit, but felt a persistent lethargy she couldn't shake. A friend gently suggested she find a small project. Eleanor, remembering boxes of old family photos in the attic, decided to finally tackle organizing them. It started small, just an hour a day, but identifying faces, recalling memories, creating albums, it engaged her mind. Around the same time, she joined a low-key book club at the library she used to run. Suddenly, her days had anchors, things to look forward to, things that required her focus and participation. And guess what? That pervasive tiredness started to lift. Giving her mind something meaningful to chew on actually boosted her physical energy. She felt useful, connected to her past, and engaged with the present. So, how do you break out of that rut and reignite your spark? It's about finding what genuinely interests you. Rediscover a passion or find a new one. Was there a hobby you loved but never had time for? Painting, gardening, playing an instrument, genealogy? Now's the time. Challenge your brain. Learn a new skill, maybe basic computer skills, a new language, even just a few phrases, or take an online course on a topic that fascinates you. Many community colleges offer courses for seniors. Find a sense of contribution. Could you volunteer your time or skills, even just a few hours a week? Mentor a young person? Help at a local charity? Create a gentle routine. Having even a loose structure, like a morning walk, reading time, a specific project hour, can provide focus and momentum. Finding purpose doesn't mean you need to run a marathon or start a business. It means engaging your mind and spirit in ways that feel meaningful to you. This mental activation is incredibly powerful for combating fatigue and reminding yourself of your enduring capabilities and worth. 6. The movement myth. Thinking you need less activity. Here's the crucial misunderstanding. While our bodies certainly change and we might not be running sprints anymore, drastically reducing physical activity doesn't conserve energy in the way we might think. In fact, prolonged inactivity leads to muscle weakening, atrophy, reduced cardiovascular fitness, poorer circulation, and often disrupted sleep patterns. All of these things actively contribute to feeling more tired, more sluggish, and less capable. Think of it like a gentle use it or lose it principle. When we stop asking our bodies to move regularly, they become less efficient at generating and utilizing energy. Paradoxically, appropriate movement often creates more energy. Let me tell you about George. At 77, he was convinced his constant fatigue meant he needed to take it easy. He spent most of his days settled comfortably in his favorite armchair, reading or watching television. He figured conserving energy was the smart thing to do, but he just felt more and more drained. His doctor, during a routine checkup where George complained about his tiredness, gently challenged this idea. He didn't suggest marathon training, just incorporating short, gentle walks into his daily routine, maybe 10 to 15 minutes to start. George was resistant at first. "Walk? But I'm too tired," he protested, but he gave it a try. Slowly, consistently, he started his short walks. And much to his surprise, instead of feeling more exhausted, he began to notice a subtle shift. He felt a little more alert after his walks, his sleep started improving slightly, and that overwhelming sense of lethargy began to lessen. He learned that appropriate movement wasn't depleting his energy, it was actually helping his body generate it more effectively. So, what's the solution? It's not about pushing yourself to exhaustion, it's about embracing gentle, regular movement. Find activities you genuinely enjoy and that feel comfortable for your body. Walking is fantastic, even short strolls around the house or garden count. Chair yoga or gentle stretching improves flexibility and circulation. Gardening, even light weeding or potting plants, gets you moving. Swimming or water aerobics are wonderfully low-impact options. The key is consistency rather than intensity. Always check with your doctor before starting any new physical activity, especially if you have underlying health conditions. They can help you determine what's safe and appropriate for you. Remember, staying physically active isn't just about fitness. It's about maintaining your strength, your balance, your mobility, and yes, boosting your energy levels. It's a vital part of preserving your independence and your ability to engage fully with life. 7. The medication maze. Side effects weighing you down. Here's the crucial consideration. Many common medications prescribed for everything from high blood pressure and allergies to pain management and mood regulation list fatigue or drowsiness as a potential side effect. Sometimes it's mild and temporary as your body adjusts, but other times it can be significant and ongoing. The challenge is, with multiple medications sometimes interacting, or as our bodies change how they process drugs, pinning down whether fatigue is a side effect can feel like solving a complex puzzle. It's easy to overlook this possibility and just attribute the tiredness to age or other factors we've discussed. Let's talk about Linda. She's 70, generally active, but recently started a new medication for blood pressure. It was working well for her numbers, but she found herself feeling unusually drained, needing naps she never used to take. She almost resigned herself to it, thinking, well, at least my blood pressure is better. But the fatigue was really impacting her quality of life. When she went to refill her prescription, she decided, almost as an afterthought, to mention the persistent tiredness to her pharmacist. She asked, "Could this new medication be making me feel so wiped out?" The pharmacist, knowing her full medication list, recognized fatigue as a known side effect and saw it wasn't listed as a major issue before. They flagged it for Linda's doctor. After a brief consultation, the doctor suggested simply adjusting the timing of when Linda took the medication, moving it from morning to bedtime. It was a small change, but for Linda, it made a remarkable difference, significantly reducing her daytime fatigue without compromising her blood pressure control. Her simple act of asking the question made all the difference. So, how do you navigate this potential maze? Knowledge and communication are key. First, keep an absolutely up-to-date list of everything you take: prescription medications, over-the-counter drugs, vitamins, and herbal supplements. Carry it with you to all appointments. Second, make it a point to review this list regularly with both your doctor and your pharmacist. They are experts in how these substances work and interact. Third, be direct. Ask specifically, could any of my medications, or the combination of them, be contributing to my fatigue? Don't hesitate to voice your concerns. And crucially, this is vital, never stop taking a prescribed medication or change your dosage on your own based on how you feel. Always discuss changes with your healthcare provider first. Advocating for yourself regarding your medications isn't being difficult. It's being a responsible partner in your own healthcare. It's about ensuring your treatment plan supports not just your health metrics, but your overall quality of life and energy. So, we've journeyed through these 7 often hidden energy drains together. Feeling a little more hopeful, perhaps? Recognizing yourself in any of these stories? Remember, knowledge is the first step, but action is where the magic happens. The magic of reclaiming your energy, your vibrancy. Now, I'd love for this space to become a wellspring of shared wisdom. Think about it. Which of these points felt like someone finally understood, or which solution sparked a little light bulb moment for you? Don't be shy. Drop that thought in the comments below. Your experience could be the key that unlocks energy for someone else reading this. And if you want to keep discovering practical, dignified ways to navigate life after 70 with more vitality and joy, consider joining our community by clicking that subscribe button. Let's continue this journey together, finding strength and solutions one conversation at a time. Take that first small step today. Small step.